The purpose of this presentation is to share a plan that aims toward decreasing childhood obesity. First, I would like to share with you an overview of this plan, which I otherwise call a campaign. Indeed, this campaign seeks to affect all areas of an individual's spheres of influence. It relies heavily on the diffusion of innovation theory that it will use many existing people, local organizations, institutions, and communication mechanisms to spread the idea of healthy living. This campaign should not be viewed as fat shaming, but one that carries a sense of positivity with a main point that exercising and healthy eating are important for everybody, regardless of the age, weight, or size. Everybody. And part one talks about obesity, where it's more prevalent in areas or less prevalent in other areas. For example, obesity is a major problem facing many American youth, especially in the rural South. One may blame this on accesses to fitness gym or what they would call better eating supplies or food supplies. There could, of course, be many factors involved, such as behavior, which is the primary. And one cannot ignore environmental factors as well as biological factor. Let us talk about theory of planned behavior. The theory of planned behavior will also be utilized in an effort to change individual and group attitudes or behaviors. Is a valuable tool because it takes into consideration local demographics such as age, race, gender, religion, socioeconomic level, geographic, educational level, and more. And let us look at the sub-factor. Some of these sub-factors like behavioral belief, attitude towards the behavior, normative belief, and subjective. All these led straight to the primary, which is one's behavior. And part two talk about communication tool. The intervention, the end goal of the campaign is to increase awareness about the dangers of obesity in a non-judgmental manner. I repeat again, non-judgmental manner that focuses on positive behaviors such as exercising and eating healthy, as well as to create social change within the target communities. Intervention strategies and programs, for instance, to implement free and low-cost fitness and sport programs, schools and other community centers, holding free healthy eating seminar, promoting these programs within schools, churches, and other community groups, and lobbying for greater health foods option in areas with little or no access to food. How will I market this? Marketing and promotion activities. The goal of the marketing is to create awareness about programs. For instance, social media is a very, very effective platform, like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Email newsletter in partnership with community centers and school, and print material to disseminate through organization or partners organization. Those are very effective methodologies that you can use to market programs in order to yield success. And who will be the target demographic? Target demographic for anti-obesity youth public health campaign consists of first of one mid-sized city in the South and slightly lower than average household income when compared to other places. And one must, of course, it's not a closed or secluded campaign, but it's that's the target demographic when compared to other demographics. How will I appeal the target market? To identify the cultural uniqueness of the target market. Identify key communities, leaders, groups, or influential organizations within the community. Identify the community's overall cultural beliefs, symbols, and practice in order to be sensitive to these in the course of the campaign. Identify predominant languages and dialect. And determine how to capitalize on word of mouth and interpersonal communication within the community. Word of mouth, in my opinion, very effective. And during the process of the campaign, a sense of cultural sensitivity will always be expressed or exhibit. This is very important. Very, very important. You have to learn to understand one's norms within their culture and belief system. To make sure that the message is culturally sensitive, we'll first do research about the local population and their values, belief system. From there, we'll run the message by local influencers and focus groups made up of people from community to make sure that the message is effective and non-offensive. And part 4 talks about timeline. Every goal set should have a timeline, an end date, or a target date. Here for this campaign, set a target date for 12 months. Month 1, where you collect the data, and to month 12, where you begin transitioning oversight of program and activities to local organizations and communities and check and balances and all those stuff. And because this campaign involves children, there are always going to be legal and ethical issues. And to prevent these mishaps, parental permission or consent is very important. And also to ensure ethical guidelines is followed, we make sure the message is not one that target or as a negative connotation like fat shaming anyone, rather than promote positive behavior among all youth. To overcome this potential ethical obstacle, the campaign will promote social change by making healthy living a part of everyone's life, not just those who are obese. Exercise is good for everyone, and our campaign will emphasize that. Also, it will promote fitness as a social activity rather than a painful, boring, strenuous solo activity. Because I said it again, exercising is good for everyone. And to evaluate this campaign, to see if it is working, test and retest, we follow the campaign, change will be measured in the following ways. The overall decrease in youth obesity rates, obesity/BMI rates of participant, and participant increase, of course, or decrease in weekly exercise fitness time, and changes in self-reported healthy habit and attitude towards health. If one comes to you and approach you and said, okay, I lost 1 pound last week because of your program. 1 pound may not seem like a big deal to some people, but for some, it's a big deal. Someone say, oh, I changed my old diet and start eating healthy because of your program, and it's working for me. It may not seem a big deal for you, but it may be a big deal for another person. So, as I said again, test and retest. How can this campaign help future programs or campaign? Information gathered and lesson learned from this campaign will be used to guide future research and campaigns in areas with similar demographics and challenges. And of course, you can also go to the references to check for yourself and read for yourself on the subject matter. I hope you gather something from this, and thank you for listening. Have a good day. The purpose of this presentation is to share a plan that aims toward decreasing childhood obesity. First, I would like to share with you an overview of this plan, which I otherwise call a campaign. Indeed, this campaign seeks to affect all areas of an individual's spheres of influence. It relies heavily on the diffusion of innovation theory that it will use many existing people, local organizations, institutions, and communication mechanisms to spread the idea of healthy living. This campaign should not be viewed as fat shaming, but one that carries a sense of positivity with a main point that exercising and healthy eating are important for everybody, regardless of the age, weight, or size. Everybody. And part one talks about obesity, where it's more prevalent in areas or less prevalent in other areas. For example, obesity is a major problem facing many American youth, especially in the rural South.